All right, we're coming to the end of the morning session. It's about 20 after 11 on the 25th of March, a Monday, 2019. E for marketwizards.com and emoney-wizard.com, reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. And first of all, for new traders in the room, thank you for joining us, and I appreciate your comments, especially those that say you're happy to have found me after all this time. And I appreciate that. I take this business seriously, and we try to help traders. A lot of good traders out there to choose from, so I appreciate your support. We had said earlier that note that this could be the start of whack-a-mole because we had made this higher high. Said only time will tell. And we came back and we held that all-important 95, 96 area, and then we got a program trade where you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Bang, bang, bang. Nope, we're going this way. And then the pullback, and we see another W that's formed. So this 04 we call support now. This is a double trying to test the highs. So back here when we said, let's use 88 support, don't know whether it'll hold or not, but that is held. So now you have to start to think a little bit more aggressively on the long side where their supports are and where the shorts have to undermine them to get any more posture short side. And so this is our all-important squeeze pivot back here, just below 96. And then this is the aggressive support right here at that 04 area. Probably trying to take out the 13s and test the 15s before they're done. Can't guarantee that, but that's the goal of the boys. Try to run stops. And that still would be inside the day's range for now. So until this 04 to 02 breaks, that's support. Aggressive support. And in the current swing, we're running into a 10 and 15 minute possible resistance. So I suggest if you are long, make sure you are paid. Coming into that big 12.5 to 13 where we've opened. And this is a 15-minute chart, becoming more neutral. Still got a blue line coming down at us. If you want to take a look at your 10s, you can see your 10s are going to be ahead of the 15. So this 15 area telling me that even if we got above this, we still could run into some resistance here. And the name of the game is try to grab a few points as the market is swinging and then put them in your pocket and go sidelines and think, can I find another place to accumulate a few points? And our angel and demon chart, you'll note how we've held. Looked like it was going to take out the lows and go crashing down, and yet it stayed nice and neutral, respecting that 88, 89 support that we have suggested comes first before anything else. And a nice range type trade. Got to get through the middle, that 04 area, to tackle 13.25 highs, which are the demon bar here, angel 1, 2, that got busted, and this got busted, and this is the right one right here, 94.25. Range type trading right now. And there may be some news that comes out later, but anybody that's had a good morning, you probably don't want to overtrade at lunchtime. I still think it's possible to take out the high and even the overnight high, but I still think we'll run into resistance then and still come back. But it will tell us if the low is in probably for now. Very big pivot that we're trying to decide at that 12.5, just part of our system. And if the longs can't bust that and can't stay above it, then we're still doomed to probably range trade for a while. Now here's how we handle the predictive model. We obviously know this green circle area has held. The fighting range here has held, and we've gone into the next box. So what's next? Well, obviously, we can take this and say, all right, I guess this is our next resistance. I guess this is our current fighting range. And I guess this area is held, so now we have to go back to this 92 to 93 as support, basis this chart, and say evidently that's what's going on, and that the market is now trying to test the 12s and higher. And by being honest with ourselves, with what's going on, instead of trying to use our own bias, it helps us to be a little bit more objective and to see potential relationships. So if you were looking at the extremes right now of 2 boxes out of the 3, we would have to conclude that the next key resistance above 18 is 22. And we'd have to conclude that this 02, 03 area is important support, and that the current battle would evidently be from this 12.5 area above seeking higher and below seeking lower. But this whole range is the current 2 boxes that are being decided right now and resolved. And until we resolve the low or the high of this, that's the current range based on the predictive model. Because we've abandoned below this 93 and taken out the O2s and are above it. And this is how you use objective criteria instead of just your opinion. And the more you can do this, I think the more success you'll have as a trader. Let's switch back to all-day chart. Now we can see the relationship where I said make sure you're paid coming into these 12s, possibly trying to get to the 15 test. And you can see where that relationship comes from based on this chart. And we can also see the importance of this 4 squeeze pivot, trying to take out the RTH high and test the highs of the overnight range. I don't make the rules. I'm just trying to help interpret them. $10-minute chart running into our blue line. Anything above 15, good fortune right now. You're within about 3 points of the overnight high. Black, set up, and then rotation, and now squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. We've had everything back here in 10-minute bars. One spin bar that lied, right? Dark bar, but then white, 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 and currently white. And if you want to go back to something like your 5, which is our base chart, then you'll be able to see things like your rain line, and you'll be able to see things like our blue line where we're over and under, and the green and the red coming up, which will tend to be supportive. until you break them. Neutral day so far. We said we thought maybe it would be neutral. Still got to look at a 2-day relationship and so on. But until you get back under this 05 area, we are bouncing. Morning after trend day and a bounce. Anybody wanted to plunge? Disappointed. We thought maybe range. And that was the right call. In hindsight, that's been the right call. IB high has been taken out. We need to pay attention to that as the day progresses. And bases are monthly. Support box is held. Said let's use this 78, 79 area as our base support for an OTF trader. Largely have to resolve the 96 and a quarter to the 1375. Just hitting that. And then the resistance box we're going to be using up here as the 31 and a quarter to 1375. So this is a much bigger relationship, but one we still want to be aware of to see what the big boys are thinking. And that 28 and a quarter high from Friday, all important resistance still inside this big swing area. And you really can articulate the deeper levels of support and resistance, but as a day trader, if you want to engage in battle, you got to see the whites of their eyes. You can't just, hide behind these larger numbers. You got to get in tight and see, well, tell me what's tighter. Otherwise, it's like a boxer who stands in the corner just jabbing, never leaving his stool over there. Never, just runs around the ring, never wants to get tagged. Reminding you of the yearly proportion. We're tackling, entering into the top box, defended in this box. So this has been our yellow circle. This is our red, and this is our green down here. Basis this scale. And here's a look at this year's range. This is now calibrated according to the current contract. And this line represents the prior high and low that we had. And a reminder, we had looked at this chart, this relationship, when we decided last December, this was a perfect within 5 points of the low on the prior year. This was clear. And we've had quite a bounce since then. And we kept saying maybe they want to take out these highs. First was this high right in here. We said, well, they're going to try to get above that. And then they held this and said, okay, got all this room to work. Maybe they want to take out the next high, in which they've done. And now we've had this relationship up here, the 77, 78 area that I like as the current resistance. And about 10, 12 points here, and we've had this gigantic plunge. And now people looking on the short side are getting squeezed back this way a bit. So it's always about risk and reward as well. I'm going to risk, and the big boys don't risk 2 points. They're risking 10 points. You could even risk 20. So on a day like today, their buy zone, let's go back and take a look to try to explain it. So a big boy, he's trying to defend the 88. He's trying to buy 88s to 98s, this core zone down here, and say, hey, I think I can get something going this way. And on the other side, we've got, say, this 18 to 08 area where the shorts have been trying to say, no, you don't. And in between that is the truth. That's the range until one gets really bullied up and pushes the other back. That's the way I view this. So this is the no man's land in tug of war. And this is the boys trying to buy. And this is the girls over here trying to sell. And the middle is where the range gets resolved. And I don't mean that the girls are weak, because they're not. I've got 2 daughters, and I love girl power. I'm just using that as an example. You can call it the red team and the blue team if you want. But then people would complain, oh, you're talking politics. So let's just say those who prefer the long side are trying to defend back here, this zone. And those who prefer the short side are trying to defend this zone back here, these top 2. And then this is the middle core, but realistically, this is the primary fighting zone. So let's end up with one last question. The primary trade today, was it long or short? What is the primary trade today, long or short? It's long, absolutely, because the largest trade of the morning has been from low to high. So even though it's an inside day, it tells me that anybody who played long side, and marginally so, has had probably a better idea of, okay, I'm buying support and I've done okay. Now, in truth, both sides did great. But as such, right now, that tells me we want to be very conservative about thinking about breaking lows now, because it tells me that RTH, the boys have supported this market, and pullbacks probably will get bought. I'm still going to treat it as a range type day, but it tells me anybody who is trying to short this morning is getting squeezed. All right, I hope that helps you guys. This is, I think, been a good start for us today. See you guys in the Slack room. And for those of you who joined us new, I welcome you. And you'll find we've got a great team here. Guys help each other left and right and point out things and a few different styles. But you know what? You're going to learn something here, and I'm glad you're here. All right, guys, be well.